Hello, everybody. Once again, back to do MMA commentary from the OFC 9 card. Well, I guess not once again for the OFC 9, because it's the first time it's the OFC 9. But back again to do MMA commentary. This time, the card is OFC 9. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Lots of news in real life MMA. Diego Sanchez has been released by the UFC, which is, on one hand, about time. On the other hand, incredibly sad because he appears to be in a very bad place with the whole Joshua Fabia thing and basically being in a cult. They released a video of them and Stephan Bonner basically jawing back and forth with Paul Felder and other commentators. It was weird. It was very, very weird. Very silly. Anyways, I don't know what to do with that, really. And then also the Endeavor stuff is going forward, and the UFC will probably make a lot more money. Some of that will probably find its way to the fighters, but not enough. And Ari Emanuel, one doesn't know who Weili Zhang is, which is okay. Sorry, I got something in my eye. Which is okay, I guess. And also thinks that MMA's never had a major injury, and listed your basic stick and ball sports as ones that have, which you don't really understand, because aside from death, MMA has had, MMA has had death, but the UFC has not. Has had just about every major injury you can have, including Chris Weidman's recent leg shattering. So I would like to know what his definition of that is, of a major injury, I guess. So let's get on to OFC 9. This was the first fight card that was properly headlined by a title fight. This was the second encounter of Joachim Jackhammer Hunvikson and Jonathan Hellsfire Smith, meeting up in the main event, but also a lot of heavyweight fights were on the card, including the Derksen brothers, Byron Derksen taking on Dwayne Boogeyman Cargill, and the fight I'm going to be covering today, which is Gerald Derksen, the Madman, taking on Roberto Tucan Cantu, who was making his OFC debut. So let's set the stage here. Obviously, I think we all know what the Madman brings to the table if you've been paying attention. Madman is insane. He is a berserker. He is going to go forth and be incredibly aggressive and not really give any fucks about defense. And that's how he's ended up with a 5-5 record in the heavyweight division, because he has been finished 4 times by strikes, 1 time by submission coming into this fight. All his wins by finish. Man does not go beyond the second round ever, because somebody has been finished by that point. Sometimes it's him. Roberto Tucan Cantu, 3-1 fighter. Kind of your stereotypical tough man. If I were to come up with an MMA juxtaposition for him, it's a Joey Beltran, Paul Buentello style fighter. More technical than you probably give him credit for, but not with the most diverse skill set in the world. He wants to box. He wants to throw some low kicks. And he does rely incredibly on toughness and the ability to take and absorb punishment. But he is surprisingly defensively savvy. Going to be interesting to see how that one goes. This was a relatively early fight on the card. Other shout-outs. Sam Rogers Jr. and Brandon Carter had a pretty good fight. Didn't cover it here. But it was a candidate that I was thinking about bringing forth for this fight. And we had some interesting stuff. A submission, a heel hook submission, which is a bit rare. But we did have a lot of decisions. I am sorry, but my Facebook is going off. So I'm going to close that, and that will fix the problem. And also, my phone is going off. Man, it's just all getting in the way. And the problem with the phone, of course, is that I do kind of have to slightly pay attention to it, because my dad is coming over for basically me to be money marked. So anyways, that's the lead up to this fight here. In terms of where they are in OFC, Derksen coming into this fight on a 2-fight losing streak, having lost to Carsten Shreve and Paul Warnken. So he's in bad shape. Really needs a win. Cantu, like I said, debuting, so he's fine. That being said, you don't really want to lose to a guy who's on a 2-fight losing streak when you debut in a promotion. Also, man, I need to get a shave in here. There's a strong neck beard going on. Anyways, I'll be right back with the play-by-play interface, and we'll get ready to go on this thing, and we'll enjoy the ride. And we are here for action in the OFC's heavyweight division. Gerald Madman Derksen coming out against Roberto Cantu. And there is no patience being applied here. Derksen is charging forward immediately and gets into the face of the Tucan, throwing some hard leather. Tucan's doing a good job of avoiding it, though. There's some good head movement going in there. A couple of nice little stinging counter punches. I'm not really sure if they're intended to be counter punches, but the fact that he's being able to make Derksen miss with some of those big meat cleaver punches and then return fire does mean they have the anticipated effect of a counter strike, whether that is the actual game plan here or not, because I think Cantu is also just planning to charge in there, and this is man-on-man, rock-on-rock action going on here. Cantu lands a good shot to the body, but Derksen gets a good 1-2 in there as well. He's going hard. He's going upstairs. He is head hunting as his hands find their way behind the head of Roberto Cantu and pull him into the Thai plum clinch, where he lands a thunderously ferocious knee. That's a knee from a man with a lot of size. I think it can't be stated that, Derksen, a massive heavyweight, a guy who cuts weight to get down to the weight class, 6'7". Cantu falling backwards a little bit there, not seemingly overly rocked, just kind of backing up, kind of resetting, trying to rethink this. He's at a significant size disadvantage, only about 6 feet tall, 240, 250 pounds, somewhere in that ballpark. So he is looking for a way to maximize speed and that little bit of defensive acumen that we were talking about before, the ability to do some cut, or to the ability to do a little bit of what you would want to see defensively from a fighter. In fact, a big defensive move there, good head movement, and he stings Derksen hard with a right hand. Derksen is in trouble, actually swaying a little bit on the feet as he shoots in for a takedown. We have seen everything. We have seen a takedown from Gerald the Madman Derksen. Not something we ever really have expected. But what we are also seeing is some massive ground and pound. My lord, the power on that. Cantu's head is bouncing off the canvas. He's out. And the referee is going to step in and stop this fight. Gerald Madman Derksen has his first OFC win. This is normally when I talk about where I think a guy is going to go and hadn't really planned it out. That's not the case here today. Later on in this fight card, Byron Derksen defeated Dwayne Boogeyman Cargill by unanimous decision. And as a result, it has been named that the Derksen brothers will face the Overeem brothers, because we got Alistair Overeem, we got Valentin Overeem on 3-fight contracts here in OFC. And they will be headlining an upcoming card, I believe, and I will double check this, but I do believe that it is OFC 14, which will be entitled Bad Blood. It will be out of Nanaimo, British Columbia. So that'll be fun. Derksen gets an emphatic first win here. Manner that you really wouldn't expect, because, we see the takedown that we don't really see. We know Derksen has a wrestling game. It's just not something that really ever gets shown off. For Tucan Cantu, I think this was a relatively positive fight for him. I know you're going to say he got knocked out in a little over 2 minutes. How is that possibly a positive moment? And I understand that, but he showed some good head movement, showed some good action fighter things. I'm interested to see what he can do in a second fight. The second fight kind of writes itself. Any kind of sort of action-based fight, striking-based arts fight. Paul Gratch Warnken comes to mind as like the perfect archetypical fight that you could do. there are a number of other options on the table. OFC 10 will be run this weekend. If you're on the Discord server, check it out. The results will be up relatively shortly. Commentary will follow sometime during the week. Depends on how things go. Won't be Monday. Monday is pretty solidly booked, but Tuesday would not be out of the question. I would suspect a little bit later than that. But keep your eyes peeled on the YouTube channel here for more action from the OFC. And as always, if you want a fighter, check out the Discord linked below. We can make that happen. A couple of people actually have popped in. We met some new people, some new MMA fans. I want to give a shout out to Toby Garcia, who's going to be debuting on the baseball stream tonight, Super Mega Baseball, over on my Twitch channel. And you might want to check that out. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, short one today. But I think that fight was everything good about heavyweight MMA and how to make use of two fighters that don't necessarily have the highest diversity in their skill sets.